Today's session is going to be about 30 minutes with an emphasis on core work, hip flexors. So get your mats set up, get comfortable, kick off your shoes, and let's get started. Welcome to our outdoor Pilates. So we're going to start off by planting both feet on the ground, spread the toes, feel the heel of the foot and the midpoint of the foot, the ball of the foot, and all your toes pressed into the ground, soft bend in the knees. Just let the pelvis relax for now. I think an awful lot of the time we can be in a natural position like this, a little bit overarched. And sometimes in Pilates, what I notice is people tend to really tuck the tailbone under and everything is really kind of crunched here, and that doesn't feel right. So just allow yourself to stand naturally and comfortably. Relax the pelvis so that you're not overarched, you're not trying to stack yourself, but that you're just in a neutral spine. We're going to breathe in, pull the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, let them drop. So we're going to start by just relaxing a little bit. Let the head fall to one side. Breathe in, pull the shoulder up towards the ear. Let me turn to face you. Exhale, let them fall away from each other. One more time. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, let them fall away from each other. Let's do it the opposite side. This is tighter. Inhale, squeeze them together. Exhale, let them drop. I hope you'll be able to hear me with the wind in the background. Inhale and exhale. Okay, from here we're going to take a breath in and try not to eat our hair. And exhale, drop the chin to the chest. You might be able to hear me a bit better because my face is a bit closer to the mic. And we're going to roll down. So I want you to just be aware as you roll down of where you feel tight. If you feel tight, I'm going to walk the hands forward onto the mat. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Breathing in. You might hear a bit of traffic in the background. And exhale, relax. Let the tailbone tuck up. Belly drop to the floor. And lift your chin, feel the stretch down your midline. Back to neutral spine. Take a breath in. On the exhalation, pull your belly button towards the sky. Tuck your tailbone under. Press your hands into the ground. And press through the arch in your back. I tend to arch more in between my shoulder blades here, so really try and get that movement into the lower spine. Breathe in, release, and let's sit back on the heels, reach the hands forward. Feel a stretch through the backs of the shoulders. Coming up. Letting the feet relax out, rolling down to the front, hands under the shoulders, take a breath in, exhale, engage through the core, pushing up, and let's come onto our backs. So let's start with a tabletop position, so one leg up to coffee table position, engage. Pull your belly button down towards the floor, and let's bring the first leg up to meet the second leg. We're going to hold it here for 10 seconds. Knees should be over the hips. Belly button pull down towards the ground. No big arch in the lower back. Taking a breath in. Exhale, let's bring one foot down and then the other. Now if that was too difficult, you can do one leg at a time. And you can float the other leg off the ground. Still very difficult, but it might be easier. I find it easier to do this than to have one leg down here, but you can have your toes on the ground if you need to, like that. And then you can swap legs. So if you find it a little bit hard to do 2 legs at a time, you can do 1 leg at a time for the same amount of time. Let's start now with a little bit of a frontline stretch. So we're going to take a breath in. And exhale, let's bring the arms back. Now I want you to just be aware that we don't want the ribs flaring upwards like this. So start with the arms and keep the ribs pressed into the ground. Take a breath in Exhale, bring them back up to 12 o'clock. Okay, let's add in one leg. Breathing in, exhale. we have a guest. Move away, move away. I'm doing a video. Okay, let's go. Stretching out one arm. Inhale, bring it back to center. Leg down, stretching out the other leg. Exhale, again, keeping the belly button pulled down towards the floor. Don't let the ribs flare upwards. And back to center. If you find that way too easy from coffee table position, coming back. I'm going a bit high to avoid the dog, so I'm shaking. Inhaling. Let's go again. Flatten the lower back down. Don't let your back arch up off the ground. Don't let the ribs flare. And let's go for 3, 2, 1. And coming back to center. Now I'm going to have to move this fairy. You're getting in my way. You need to come out of the video. No? Okay, stay there then. Arms above. And we're going to bring 2 feet up. And let's stretch one leg away. And back. Now again, the same premise here, that we're keeping the lower back flattened down into the ground. Inhale to come back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. He's going to keep getting in the way. Go, go, go. Challenging my core. Let's go for 2 more on either side. 1 and 1. Flattening the lower back. Every time you bring the knees back, you can tuck your tailbone a little if you like and reset your lower back. Last one. And last one. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rest. Okay, let's come onto our sides. Hand under the head. I want you to stack your hips. So one shoulder above the other. Hips are stacked, knees are stacked. Soft bend in the knees, feet are together. And we're going to just lift that top leg and down. And 2. So while you may not feel this is a very strong exercise, I want you to think about mobilizing your hip in a direction we don't ordinarily mobilize the hip. So when we're walking, we move back to front and front to back. When we're running, we do the same. When we're cycling, we do the same. Now, if you're doing something like Zumba or a step class, then we do some of those side steps and we work into glute medius and we work those muscles along the side of the leg. If you want to make this a bit more difficult, you can straighten the leg, turn the toes down towards the floor, heel towards the sky, and we can go for 5 more. 4. A fox came visiting. 3. He wanted to steal my chickens. 2. And 1. And you should be feeling that behind the hip in the side of the bum. Let's come to the opposite side. Again, starting with a bent knee. Shoulders, hips, knees are stacked, soft bend in the knees. You can start with a bent leg if you like. Now what you want to be sure of here is that you don't rotate backwards. So I don't want to be rolling back like this. We're lifting. 3, 2, and 1. Again, if that's too easy, straighten that top leg, turn the toes towards the ground, heel towards the sky, and we're going to go for 5. Feel that squeeze. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, the focus with these exercises is to control them. We don't want to speed through them. Let's get a little bit of a front body stretch here. So Now this can be a bit difficult on the wrists. I want you to pop your fingers facing in towards your bum. And let's lift the bum off the ground. Take a breath in. Exhale, press upwards and down. And again. Press upwards. You might be able to hear my belly rumbling in the microphone. And down. Take a breath in. Exhale to press upwards, squeezing. And down. So we're working through the backs of the legs, stabilizing through the core. Let's go for 2 more. Upwards and down. Getting those hips as close to the sky. Upwards and down. Okay, coming on to our backs again. And we're going to go for some rolls. So working through the core again. Arms out by the sides. Let's bring one knee to coffee table position and the other foot to follow. Breathing in, lower back pressed into the ground. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale. Bring the legs a small bit to the side. Don't allow them to flop or fall. Try not to squeeze too hard into the arms for support. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the opposite side. Pausing there. Ensuring that we're pulling that belly button back towards the spine as we breathe out and draw those knees back to center. Let's go again to the opposite side. Breathing in. Exhaling back to center, keeping the lower back flattened into the ground. Breathe in. Exhaling back to center. One more time. Hello, Pippi. Come on, out of the way. Out of the way. Good girl. Go, out of the way. Go, go, go. Exhale back to center. Inhale. And exhale back to center. What a disaster you dogs are for recording. Okay, sitting up. Let's get some spine movement in. You're doing your downward dog. You stretch, Pippi. Breathing in, sitting tall. Exhaling, let's roll forward. Breathing in to roll back up. Pip. Breathing in, exhaling forward. Exhaling forward, rolling through the back and the arms. So I want you to feel this in the backs of the legs. Breathing in, stretch your hands down along the fronts of the legs. As you breathe out, rolling backwards, inhaling to breathe in. One more time, exhaling forward and breathing in. Okay, rolling onto the back again. Both feet up, lower back is pressed down into the ground, and we're going to do some toe taps. So tapping one foot and then the other. And we're going to go for 10, 9, and 9. Don't allow those ribs to flare up. 8, and 8. 7, and 7. Pull your belly button towards the floor. 6, and 6. 5. Breathe in. Exhale the leg away. 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. You may have paused at this point if the muscles are burning. 1, and 1. Okay, hug those knees back to the chest again. Give a bit of a roll. Let everything relax. Hugging one leg up and let the opposite stretch away. And swap sides. Okay, let's work through the upper body. What we're inclined to feel is that everything works in the middle. We feel everything burning in the middle. And we often don't feel the lower abs, and we can ignore the upper portion of the abdominals. So we want to get an even stretch through the entire stretch of the deep transverse abdominals, so all the deep muscles, and we like to have a little bit of work in the abdominal muscles as well. So we're going to reach towards the sky, taking a breath in, exhaling, gently press your chin down into your chest and reach up as if you want to touch the clouds. I'm wobbling here, it's difficult. Inhaling back down. And on the next exhalation, let's reach up again. Legs are flat into the ground, lower back is flattened into the ground. We're reaching high. 2, 1. Inhale back down. Exhale, let's go for 2 more. Inhale. Last one. And inhale. Okay, coming up into a seated position. Now, so we're going to work through the obliques a little bit here. That means we're working through some of the muscles on our sides. Now, in order to do this, we're going to bend the knees and we're going to come into a little bit of a roll back. So it's a partial roll back. These are hard. So if you find this really difficult, you can bring your feet a little bit further apart to give you a wider base for balance. We're going to take a breath in, arms to the front. And as you exhale, I want you to tuck the tailbone and make a C shape out of your spine. So the head comes forward because that's the heaviest part. And when you feel that it starts to get a little bit difficult here when you're working, you're going to pause. So that's around here for me. I'm going to take a breath in. As I exhale, I'm rotating left. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling right. We're going to do 4 to either side. Now, if you really want to advance this, you can use a weight here. So you could hold a plate attached to your chest. You could hold a dumbbell like this attached to your chest. And this is referred to as a Russian twist when we add a weight to it. Let's go 1 more on either side. 1 and 2. Okay, coming back up to sitting. We're going to go through the roll back again. So we're making it a little bit more difficult this time. We're going to come all the way back down to the mat. Taking a breath in. Exhaling, arms to the front. Let's start rolling back. This time we're going to roll all the way back down to the mat, and I want you to try your best to control it. Here's where I start to wobble and it feels a little bit hard. Arms go behind the head. Take a breath in. Now nice and controlled and slow, we're going to exhale, hands past the face. Exhaling all the way up. Now if you find that really difficult, you can put a band around the feet and hold the band. Let's do that roll back again, taking a breath in, and on the exhale, rolling backwards. Arms behind. Breathe in. Exhale, arms past the face. And coming up to sitting. Okay, so let's come on to all fours again. So here we're going to just work a little bit on balance and core strength. Coordination. One leg comes out to the back. Now before we do that, I want you to pull your belly button up towards your spine. Ensure you're in neutral spine. And then we're going to lift the heel. Now, I see an awful lot of people coming up here. Avoid that if you can. If you're keeping everything here locked, you shouldn't be able to get your leg that high unless you're super flexible in your hip flexors. Exhale forward. Stretch your foot out to its full extension, toes on the ground. Make sure your back is straight. lift the leg. You should feel this in the glutes or in the bum muscles and along the back of the leg. 2. Let's add in the arm. So stretch the fingers away, thumb towards the sky. 1. Heel or knee to elbow. 2. Keeping your balance. 3. 4. And 5. Let's swap sides. So we're going to start by doing 2. Stretching the foot away, pulling the belly button up towards the spine, exhaling, lifting that heel, back down, tucking the toe. Again, stretch away, keep the pelvis level, lifting the leg, and forward. One more time, stretching away, and back. And again, this time adding in the hand. Thumb towards the sky, 5. Elbow to knee. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Okay, let's come back. Arching, bring the tailbone under. So let's get some cat-cows in here. Tucking the tailbone, pressing through the hands. Okay, so we're going to come into a full plank position now. If you find this really difficult, you can do it on your knees. So I'm going to show you the knee position first, and then I'll show you the full plank position. So I'm going to come back here a little. If you want to do this on the knees, we're coming into a full plank position or press up position, whatever you want to call it. Hands should be under the shoulders. Knees are the furthest most point in contact with the mat. Tucking the tailbone under, so you don't want a big arch in your lower back. You want to tuck that under, pulling the belly button up towards the sky, but we don't want the bum arched up towards the sky either, so we're looking for a straight line. If that's a little bit easy, we're coming onto the toes and we're going to hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, pulling the belly button towards the spine. Keep the tension in the abdominal muscles. 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's bring one knee down and then the other knee. So we're going to come down into an elbow position. Stretching through the back. And back into a plank position. Now this time we're going to tap 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 1 more and 4. Holding for 3, 2, 1, and one knee down and then the other. Let's bring those knees under and get a nice child's pose. Feel that stretch through the shoulder blades. Okay, so coming into a seated position, let's get a little bit of a rotation here. Okay, so you can choose how you would like to take this rotation, you can sit like this with both of your legs at an angle. You can sit with your knees like this if you prefer. I particularly like this one because I feel like I'm wringing my spine out like a cloth. It's really nice. So I'm going to rotate my body towards that front leg. One arm goes outside. I'm going to stay as tall as possible, and I'm going to start with the bottom of my spine with that rotation and finish looking over my left shoulder. Coming back to center and rotating the opposite way. Breathing in, exhaling again, start with the lower spine. Feel the stretch here. Then bring your mid-spine through and finish up by looking over your shoulder. Come back. Opposite direction. Start the stretch down here. Use your feet if you like, or your leg as a twisting point, and finish by looking over your shoulder. Okay, we're going to swap sides and do it on the opposite side. So again, I would call this my front leg, even though they're both beside each other, obviously. But we're going to rotate towards that front leg, starting with the lower body for the rotation. Arm goes behind to pull me around. I can use my hand on the outside of my knee. And I'm finishing by looking over my right shoulder. Really feeling this stretch nicely now. And exhaling to come back. Breathe in. And exhaling to rotate away in the opposite direction. Wow, I'm tighter on this side. And coming back. Let's go over the shoulder again. And coming back, starting at the bottom, finishing looking over that shoulder. And finishing up there. Okay, the last thing we're going to do today is some hip circles to get some movement through the hips. Now, there's two ways we can do this. One is where we're lying on our backs and we're rotating. So I always think of it as using like a wooden spoon to mix a mixing bowl. But actually today we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to do it on all fours. And the reason for that is that we want to create a strength effect as well. So we have to lift the leg against gravity. I'm being really selfish by doing this today because this is really good for me for my running. So if you're a runner, this is an invaluable exercise for you to work through those glute muscles. So taking a breath in, exhaling, bring that leg outwards. Now, what we want to be careful of here is that we're not rotating through the spine. We want to keep this all locked down and just move the femur in the hip joint. So breathing in and exhaling to lift. And I want you to think about scraping the dough off the inside of that mixing bowl. So come to your edge. It shouldn't hurt, but I want you to, when you're coming around, really feel like you're at the edge of your movement capacity. We're going to go for 3 more. Exhale. Exhale. 1 more. Okay, change direction. That can be a little bit easier coming back in this direction. Lifting a little bit higher. 2. Keep that belly button pulled up towards the spine. 3. 1 more. And 4. Okay, let's swap sides. Breathing in. If you need to come onto your knuckles, you can do. Might be a little bit easier. So starting with 1. 2. 3. 5. Let's go for 4 in the opposite direction. Oh, clunk. 1, 2. This hip doesn't want to move as much. 3. 1 more. And 4. Okay, coming back into child's pose again. Oh, that definitely feels better. Now, if you like, you can come up into this position, hips high, knees underneath the hips, and I believe this is a puppy dog pose from yoga. So like child's pose, but you get a little bit more of a stretch through the shoulders and through the thoracic spine, or the shoulder blade area of your spine. Breathing in here, expanding through the ribs, and exhaling. And exhaling. Now we're going to come into a roll up to finish off. So walk the hands back, tuck the toes, take a breath in. I want you to press your hands into the ground, lift your knees, and walk the hands back the mat. Nice little strength exercise for the upper body. Now, hanging the upper body down, I want you to think about how this feels compared to how it felt at the start of the session. Take a breath in, hanging the head nice and loose. And on the exhalation, I want you to rebuild your spine like it's a bike chain. Keep that belly button pulled back in, rolling up, rolling, rolling, rolling. Ah, that feels much better. Rolling the shoulders back at the top. Give yourself a little shake from side to side. I always put off Pilates sessions, and I always feel so good when they're done. I hope you enjoyed that.